A very good morning to all students. I am Neetu Cover, your English teacher. Today we will study First Flight, chapter number 5. Chapter name is The 100 Dresses, part 1. The chapter is written by Ilpsor Ister. And in this chapter, we will study about a girl, a Polish girl, a young Polish girl. Why I am using here Polish? Because she belongs to Poland. And she migrated to America because of some issues. She migrated. So, in this chapter, we will study that how that the Polish girl who goes to school with other American students or American children in American town. These other children see Wanda. Wanda is the name of the young Polish girl. So when they saw Wanda as different and how she was different from the other American children. So this all we will study in this chapter. And the 100 dresses, it means in this chapter 100 dresses described. So the title is the 100 dresses. So in this chapter, before starting the chapter, I want to ask you, how do you judge people around us? By their money or wealth or position? How do we judge other people? Those are living around us or those are there just around us. So we should not identify or we should not compare with anyone by money or by poverty or by their economical condition. We should always respect all the children or all the people. Those are living around us. So now I am starting the chapter. The Polish American community in the United States. The first Polish immigrants arrived in America in 1608. So in 1608, the first Poland immigrants arrived in the America. It means they migrated to the America in 1608. But the largest wave of Polish immigration occurred in the early 20th century. But the large number Polish people, they migrated in the America in the 20th century, when more than 1 million Poles migrated to the United States. The Polish state did not exist at that time, and the immigrants were identified according to their country of origin rather than to ethnicity. They were identified as Russian Poles, German Poles, and Austrian Poles. One of the most notable Polish American communities is in Chicago and its suburbs. So, Chicago is sometimes called the second largest Polish city in the world. And why Chicago is known as the second Polish city? Because large number of Polish people migrated to Chicago. They were living in Chicago. Next only to Warsaw, the capital of Poland. Polish Americans were sometimes discriminated against in the United States, as were the Irish, Italians and Jews. According to the United States 2000 census, 6,67,414 Americans of age 5 years and older reported Polish as the language spoken at home, which is about 1.4% of the people who speak languages other than English, or 0.25% of the US population. Today now chapter starting. Chapter related to a young Polish girl, and the name of that girl is Wanda Petronsky. Today, Monday, Wanda Petronsky was not in her seat. But nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun. Peggy and the Madeline both are the classmate of Wanda Petronsky, and they always make fun at Wanda. So when they found that Wanda is not there on her seat, who started all the fun, noticed her absence, and Peggy and Madeline, they noticed absence of Wanda Petronsky, because today means that the particular day Wanda was absent in the classroom. Usually, Wanda sat in the seat next to the last seat in the last row in room 13. So, Wanda Petronsky's class number was room number 13, and she always sat in the last row of her classroom. She sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys who did not make good marks sat. The corner of the room where there was most scuffling of feet, most roars of laughter when anything funny was said, and most mud and dirt on the floor. Scuffling of feet means noisy. It means when the children dragging their shoes or their slippers on the floor, that sound known as a scuffling of feet. So the last row where the Wanda Petronsky always said, there were rough boys, she always said, and they were not good in study. Wanda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. On the contrary, she was very quiet and rarely said anything at all. And nobody had ever heard her laugh out loud. Sometimes she twisted her mouth into a crooked sort of smile, but that was all. And she was not speaking any other single word in her classroom. She always remains silent. Nobody knew exactly why Wanda sat in that seat, unless it was because she came all the way from Boggins Heights and her feet were usually caked with dry mud. And nobody knows that why Wanda Petronsky always sat in the last row. Maybe they were thinking, the other children or Wanda's classmates, they were thinking like that maybe she belongs to Boggins Height. Boggins House, we can say a dirty place where all the poor people lives. So she belongs to Boggins Heights, and her feet were usually caked in dry mud, and her feet always full of a dry mud. But no one really thought much about Wanda Petronsky. Once she sat in the corner of the room. The time when they thought about Wanda was outside of school hours. So now they were sharing. Now we will study that how Wanda behaves in the classroom and how the other children behave with Wanda Petronsky. But when the chapter start today, actually that day on Monday, Wanda was absent in the classroom. Now we will study about the earlier days of her classroom. The time when they thought about Wanda was outside of school hours. At noon time, when they were coming back to school, or in the morning early before school began, when groups of 2 or 3 or even more would be talking and laughing on their way to the schoolyard, then sometimes they waited for Wanda. And sometimes the children of her class, they always waited outside because they always make fun at Wanda. So outside of school they were waiting and they were making fun at Wanda to have fun with her. The next day, Tuesday, Wanda was not in the school. Now again, on Monday she was absent, and again on Tuesday also she was absent. Either and nobody noticed her absence again, and Tuesday also nobody has noticed her absence. But on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie, who sat down front with other children who got good marks and who didn't trek in a whole lot of mud, did notice that Wanda was not there. Peggy was the most popular girl in the school. She was a pretty. She had many pretty clothes and her hair was curly. Maddie was her closest friend. The reason Peggy and Maddie noticed Wanda's absence was because Wanda had made them late to school. They had waited for Wanda to have some fun with her, and she just had not come. They often waited for Wanda Petronsky to have fun with her. And why Peggy and Maddie noticed her absence? Because always they waited outside for Wanda Petronsky and they always made fun at her. So on Tuesday also they were waiting outside for Wanda, and because of this reason, because they were waiting outside that day, they came to school late. So because this reason they came to school late, because they were waiting outside. They wanted to make fun at Wanda Petronsky, and then they realized that today means on Tuesday also Wanda was absent. Wanda Petronsky, most of the children in room 13 did not have names like that, and Wanda is just a strange name for the other students. They had names easy to say like Thomas, Smith, Alan. There were one boy named Bounce. Willy bounced, and people thought that was a funny, but not funny in the same way that Petronsky was. Vanda did not have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. She always wore a faded blue dress that did not hang right. And Vanda Petronsky had only one dress. Then the color of her dress is blue. And because every day she wore that dress, and that dress was not fit for herself. The meaning of hang right means did not fit properly. The dress which Vanda had, the dress was a blue dress. The color was blue dress. Her dress also faded because every day she wore that single dress, and that was particularly not fit for Vanda Petronsky. It was clean, but every day her dress was clean. Whether she had only one dress, but every day that her dress looks very clear, neat and clean. But it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. She didn't have any friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard as she stood watching the little girls playing hopscotch on the worn, hard ground. As we know that Vanda had not any friend, but then also many girls talked with her. Why? Because they all laughing at her, and they were talking because they wanted to make fun at her. But whenever she was there outside, and when she was watching the small students or small children playing hopscotch. Hopscotch is a game in which children hop into over squares and marked on the ground. Vanda, Peggy would say in a most courteous manner as though she were talking to Miss Mason. Vanda, she would say, giving one of her friends a nudge. Tell us, how many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet? So once the one girl asked to Vanda Petronsky that how many dresses you have, because every day she came in single dress, the blue dress that was a faded. So once one girl asked to her nurse, that how many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet? Then Vanda replied 100. Vanda would say, Vanda replied that I have 100 dresses. 100? Exclaimed all the little girls incredulously, and the little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. And when all the students heard this, all the girls heard it, they stopped their games, and suddenly they were shocked, because if she had 100 dresses, then why she came every day in single dress? Yeah, 100 all lined up, said Vanda. And Vanda said, yes, I have 100 dresses, and all I have kept in a lined way, in a proper line. Then her thin lips drew together in silence, and again she became silent. What are they like? All silk? I bet, said Peggy. Then Peggy asked, what are they like? Means all are all made of silk? Yes, all silk, all colors. Then Vanda replied, yes, I have all silk dress and all colored. Means I have all the colors. Velvet too? Then Vanda replied, yeah, velvet too. 100 dresses, Vanda would repeat stolidly. All lined up in my closet. Stolidly means not showing any feeling. She was not showing any concern to all the other girls. But because they were asking questions, so she was replying to them. Then they would let her go, and then before she would gone very far, they could not help bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter. And as Vanda left that place, they started to laughing. 100 dresses. Obviously, the only dress Vanda had was the blue one, and she wore every day. So, why did she say she had 100? What a story! Then, as the Vanda left that place, then they started to talking about that if she had 100 dresses, then why she wore every day single dress? How many shoes did you say you had? 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. And once one girl asked that how many shoes you have, then she replied, there's 60 pairs of shoes I have, and all lined up. Cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this, all alike. Oh no, every pair is different. Then she replied that no, I have all the colors. All colors, all lined up. Peggy, who had thought up this game, and Maddie, her inseparable friend, were always the last to leave. Finally, Wanda would move up the street, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now and then in the funny way she had, finishing the walk to school alone. Hitching means move upside. Peggy was not really cruel. Actually, Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies. And bullies means those who use their strength or power to frighten weaker people. And she cried for hours if she saw an animal mistreated. If anybody had said to her, "Don't you think that is a cruel way to treat Wanda?" she would have been very surprised. Cruel? Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses? Actually, the Peggy was not a cruel girl, but she didn't like the answer of Wanda, which was given by the Wanda, like that I have 100 dresses, I have 60 pairs of shoes. So the mean of Peggy said, if she had not, she could tell to us like that, I have no dresses, I have only single dress. Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses? Anybody could tell that was a lie. Why did she want to lie? And she was not just an ordinary person. Else, why did she have a name like that? Anyway, they never made her cry. As for Maddie, this business of asking Wanda every day how many dresses and how many hats and how many this and this she had was bothering her. But Maddie didn't like these questions when Peggy was asking to Wanda. Maddie was poor herself because Maddie was also poor girl. But she was not Polish girl, she was American only. She usually wore somebody's hand-me-down clothes. Thank goodness she didn't live up on Boggins Heights or have a funny name. But she was happy. She was thankful to God. Why she was thankful? Because she was saying to God that thank God I am not belongs to Boggins Heights. I am not belong to that dirty place. Otherwise the other children made fun with me also. But she was not belongs to Boggins Heights, and she didn't wear single dress every day because she found the other dresses from the other students, and sometimes her mother brought dresses from Peggy's house. Sometimes when Peggy was asking Wanda those questions in that mocking, polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed and studied the marbles in the palm of her hand, rolling them around and saying nothing herself, not that she felt sorry for Wanda. Exactly, she would never have paid any attention to Wanda if Peggy had not invented the dresses game. But suppose Peggy and all the others started in on her next. She was not as poor as Wanda, perhaps, but she was poor. Actually, Maddie was poor, but not like Wanda Petronsky. Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. But means of her like that, she had the sense that how I have to give reply to the others when other children or the other girls asking questions to me. Still, she would not like for them to begin on her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Wanda Petronsky. But she wanted that Peggy should not ask these questions to Wanda. She did not like this when Peggy was asking such these questions to Wanda. Today, even though they had been late to school, Maddie was glad she had not had to come fun of Wanda. But the Maddie was happy because Wanda was absent and they didn't make fun at her. She worked her arithmetic problems absent mindedly. 8 times 8. Let's see. She wished she had the nerve to write Peggy's a note because she knew she never would have the courage to speak right out to Peggy. To say, "Hey Peg, let's stop asking Wanda how many dresses she has." When she finished her arithmetic, she did start a note to Peggy. Suddenly she paused and shuddered. She pictured herself in the schoolyard, a new target for Peggy and the girls. Peggy might ask her where she got the dress that she had owned, and Maddie would have to say it was one of the Peggy's old ones that Maddie's mother had tried to disguise with the new trimmings so no one in room 13 would recognize it. Actually, that day Maddie won the dress That was the dress of Peggy, but her mother decorated by new ribbons, so nobody can recognize that this is the dress of Peggy. So she was feeling shy. It means she was thinking, I have to say this to Peggy or not. That no, you stop all these questions you are asking to Wanda Petronsky. It's not good. But she was feeling that maybe how she will think, and maybe if she asks question to me like whose dress this and how I will reply. As she knew like that the dress was she will not able to be recognized because her mother decorated this dress by new trimmings. Trimming means ribbons. If only Peggy would decide of her own accord to stop having fun with Wanda. Oh well. Maddie ran her hand through her short blonde hair as though to push the uncomfortable thoughts away. What difference did it make? Slowly, Maddie tore into bits the note she had started. She was a Peggy's best friend, and a Peggy was the best liked girl in the whole room. Peggy could not possibly do anything that was really wrong, she thought. So she tore that paper because she didn't want to take this kind of risk. As for Wanda, she was just some girl who lived up on Borgin's height and stood alone in the schoolyard. She scarcely ever said anything to anybody. The only time she talked was in the schoolyard about her 100 dresses. Maddie remembered her telling about one of her dresses, pale blue with colored trimmings, and she remembered another that was a brilliant jungle green with a red sash. You would look like a Christmas tree in that, the girls had said in the pretended admiration. Thinking about Wanda and her 100 dresses all lined up in the closet, Maddie began to wonder who was going to win the drawing and the coloring contest. And suddenly, Maggie found that now who will win this drawing competition because their school has organized the drawing competition. Competition was over, but the result was not declared. She started to talk about this to Peggy, who was going to win the drawing and coloring contest. For girls, this contest consisted of designing dresses, and for boys, of designing motorboats. Probably Peggy would win the girls' medal. And they all were thinking that probably surely the Peggy was a very most smart girl in that room number 13. So they all were thinking like that. Even Maddie also thinking like that the Peggy will win that drawing competition. Peggy drew better than anyone else in the room. At least that's what everybody thought. She would copy a picture in the magazines or some film stars had so that you could almost tell who it was. Oh, Mary was sure Peggy would win. Well, tomorrow the teacher was going to announce the winners. Then they would know. And they were talking about the winners like that on the next day teacher will announce the name of the winner. The next day it was a drizzling. Drizzling means a very light rain was falling. A light rain was falling from the sky. Maddie and Peggy hurried to school under Peggy's umbrella. Naturally, on the next day like this, they didn't wait for Wanda. And that day, they didn't want to wait for Wanda Petronsky because already before yesterday they came late in the school. They didn't wait for Wanda Petronsky on the corner of Oliver Street. They were waiting at the Oliver Street every day for Wanda Petronsky. The street that far away under the railroad tracks and up the hill led to Borgin's height. Anyway, they were not taking chances on being late today because today was important. And why today was important? Because today their teacher will announce the name of the winner of drawing competition. Do you think Miss Mason will announce the winner's name today? Asked Peggy. I hope so. The minute we get in, said Maddie. Of course, you will win, Peg. Then the Maddie replied that of course Peg. Peg means Peggy. You will win this competition. Hope, said Peggy eagerly. The more they entered classroom, they stopped short and gasped. They were drawing all over the room because as they entered in the classroom, all the drawings kept in their classrooms in each side. There were drawings all over the room, on every ledge and window sill, dazzling colors and brilliant, lavish designs. Lavish means very grand designs, all drawn on great sheets of wrapping paper. There must have been 100 of them, all lined up, and there were around in their classroom. They all saw like that there were something 100 dresses, and they all kept in a line in a row. These must be the drawing for the contest, they were. Everybody stopped and whistled or murmured admiringly, and all the students or all the children of room number 13, they were praising all the drawings. Those were kept in their room number 13. As soon as the class had assembled, Miss Mason announced the winners. Jack Bagels had won for the boys, and the winner in the boys competition, that was the name of the winner, was Jack Bagels. She said, teacher announced the name winner, and his design for an outboard motor was an exhibition in room 12 along with the sketches by all the other boys. As for the girls, she said, although just one or two sketches were submitted by most one girl, and room 13 should be proud of her. This one girl actually drew 100 designs, and as the teacher announced like that, these all the pictures, these all the 100 design drawn by a single student, all different and all beautiful, and all the dresses different from each other, and all are very beautiful drawings. In the opinion of the judges, any one of the drawings is worthy of winning the prize. I am very happy to say that Vanda Petronsky is the winner of the girls medal, and teacher announced the name of the girls drawing competition, and who was the winner? Vanda Petronsky was the winner of girls drawing competition. Unfortunately, Vanda has been absent from school for some days, and from that Monday, Vanda was absent in the classroom and is not here to receive the applause that is due to her. Let us hope she will be back tomorrow. Now, class, you may file around the room quietly and look at her exquisite drawings. The children burst into applause, and even the boys were glad to have a chance to stamp on the floor, put their fingers in their mouths, and whistle. Though they were not interested in dresses. Look, Peg, whispered Maddie. There is that blue one she told us about. Is not it beautiful? Yes, said Peggy. And here is that green one, boy, and I thought I could draw. And Peggy replied that I could also draw all the pictures. So with this, the part 1 is completed, and the remaining part we will study in the second part, the 100 dresses part second, the chapter number 6, also related to the Vanda Petronsky. So this chapter is completed. I hope you understand. And this textbook questions, thinking about the text, this only 4 questions you have to write in your notebook. Thank you for watching the video. Have a nice day.